one time in Jefferson Parish, a 14 to an 18-year-old could work in the summer youth program. As a matter of fact, I worked in the summer youth program. It was called manpower or unemployment and training, as Mr. Charles called them. But that manpower program has changed over the years. And one of the questions that we have is that why in Orleans Parish that the 14 to 18-year-old can get the job and in Jefferson Parish it cannot. We had a kid from Orleans Parish who was 16 years old who came over here, the mayor's office, Mayor Mitchell Andrews' office sent them over here to learn how to do broadcasting. And so my question at that point was, are there any kids in Jefferson Parish who can do that? And that kid, he worked the whole summer. So one of the policy issues that we have to address, what has changed and who made the change and why the 14 to 18-year-old can no longer get on the summer job program in Jefferson Parish.
It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there. The year 2019 is going to be an exciting time in the city of New Orleans, and we want you to be a part of it. If you have a book, an event, or a business that you would like to promote right here on Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions, contact us at www.mtwimagesolutions.com or info@mtwimagesolutions.com. See you there. New year, new show. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M Lawson, and I am back with another special episode. And I know I've been saying that a lot, but every week is a special episode, especially now because we're going into election season, and it is very important to me. One of the things that I said when I first moved back home to New Orleans was that I was getting tired of people going to the polls and just voting for the person whose name they recognize, or voting for their friend, or just voting to be voting. And then I was also getting tired of the low voting numbers and people saying that they didn't feel that their vote counts. So one of the things that I wanted to do with Horizons was invite some of the candidates who are running here in New Orleans, Jefferson Parish, and so forth, so you can meet them, and that way you can make more informed decisions when it's time to go to the polls. So tonight, we have none other than Donald, who is, and from what I understand,
in this, that after this election, whoever wins, that this cadre of former elected officials, current elected officials, and animosity and resentment and all those things set us together. Atlanta community states. A young man, you got so a person may have been paying $800 for a homeowner's policy pre-Katrina, now paying $3,500, $4,000. Mm-hmm. The second thing that happened was that the property taxes went up so high. That has a dramatic impact on older people. Yes. who paid off their homes. They're 65 years old or 70 years old. They're on a fixed income. They didn't anticipate that insurance rate going up that high. They didn't anticipate their taxes going up that high. So all those costs sort of cost them out of the market. And that's not only happening in New Orleans, this is happening around the country as a whole.
Yes. Yeah. So what are some things that you plan for Jefferson Parish to maybe help mitigate some of that sentiment?
Well, the same thing's happening in Jefferson Parish. Now, also, there was a lot of redlining on the West Bank of Jefferson Parish. Mm. The cost of insurance, like say my mom's home, $120,000, $130,000, $3,000 a year to put insurance on it.
Wow.
So a lot of it is cost prohibitive. They didn't anticipate that.
And that's a big payment to come up with all at once.
And you've had a tremendous influx, as you said, of people from the New Orleans area are moving into Jefferson Parish. So you have a burgeoning middle class that's coming into Jefferson Parish, and we got a plan for that. And when you look at it, we've had little or no overall strategic planning for it. What I mean by that, it's easy to be an elected official and just sit there and say, this is what I want to do. But being able to bring a diverse group of people together, thinkers, innovators, creators, and saying, look, this is what I see based on all the census data and all the information. How can we shape and mold this system where everybody can participate, where everybody can benefit? See, that's the key to being an elected official. Don't think you're the smartest person in the room. Say to yourself, I want to surround myself with people who are just as smart or smarter than what I am. Yes. And they're going to be innovative and they're going to create. And they're not going to be people just going to go along with you all the time. I can remember my team getting away in the 1990s and going to strategic meetings, and, man, they beat me down. But the end result was Manhattan Boulevard. We were able to come in, get Darryl Berger to bring the Palace Theater to Manhattan Boulevard.
Yes. Get
Walmart to come there, spend $5 million improving Manhattan Boulevard, because they said we needed a Veterans Boulevard on the West Bank.
Yeah.
So that's became Manhattan Boulevard.
I can see that.
So that was strategic planning. That was going to some little place, Orange, Alabama, somewhere. And we sat down and we planned that. Mm-hmm. And it happened. Those are the kind of things you can do as an elected official. Bring the best and the brightest together and realize that you represent the people, you don't represent yourself.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break because we just jumped right into this, and I didn't even give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell the people what you're all about and who you are. So we're going to do that after the break. So you guys stay right there. And what I want you to do is invite all your friends who might live in Jefferson Parish, and tell people, for people who may be watching this and they don't know what Jefferson Parish is, what is Jefferson Parish?
Jefferson is a suburb of New Orleans, as you know.
Yes.
And we're on, if New Orleans, as Jefferson goes, New Orleans goes, as New Orleans goes, Jefferson. So we're right next door.
That's true. We're just like this. We're always going in and out with each other. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this and then get to know Pastor Jones and what he's planning on doing if he is elected as Jefferson Parish Councilman, District 3. So we'll be right back. What I want you guys to do is I want you to like, I want you to share, comment, and subscribe. And you can also call in if you would like to just ask questions yourself. So we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Girl, Dr. Rhonda M Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there. The year 2019 is going to be an exciting time in the city of New Orleans, and we want you to be a part of it. If you have a book, an event, or a business that you would like to promote right here on Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions, contact us at www.mtwimagesolutions.com or info@mtwimagesolutions.com. See you there.
We are an aging parish. Our population is aging. So policy has to be set to deal with the aging of the parish. So in that light, the coalition will recommend to our leaders that we start to build senior citizen communities, whereby senior citizens can sell their home if they choose and go and live in a senior citizen community when their kids are gone off and they're living in a 2,000-3,000 square foot house all alone. So they can have these communities where they can have one another and they can still enjoy and have the same quality of life.
And we're back. I am sitting here. I'm your girl, Dr. Rhonda M Lawson. I'm sitting here talking with Pastor Donald Jones, who is a candidate for Jefferson Parish Council, District 3. And we were just talking basically about affordable housing and living conditions in both Orleans Parish and Jefferson Parish, really, because these are two parishes that basically work and live together.
That's correct. And oftentimes, and that's a good point you brought up, because oftentimes people don't realize that it takes all 7 tri-parishes to make us a major metropolitan area. 1.3, 1.5, depends on whose numbers you're looking at. So it take all 7 tri-parishes working together to make this region, put it in a position to be able to compete with other areas.
Right.
So oftentimes we'll see Orleans or Jefferson, but we don't realize that we need St. Charles, St. John, St. James, St. Tammany. I mean, all of us coming together makes us a regional entity that can compete with other people.
Right.
And that's so key and so important. And one of the things in Jefferson that's happening is that you have an aging population. And I don't think we have done an adequate job addressing the fact that population is aging. And why can I say that? Because we have little or no senior citizen housing.
Yes.
I remember this thing called the Golden Girls.
Yes.
and these ladies staying together and enjoying one another and having fun and still growing.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Jefferson Parish, we're going to have to start developing senior citizens communities. And why is that so important? Let's say person 67, 68, their home may be worth $200,000, $300,000, and they have all that equity and all that in their home, but yet they're home alone because the kids are grown up.
Yes.
That person can sell that home, live in a senior citizens community, sell that home to a new young first-time home buyer, which is going to stimulate the economy. Because what's going to happen is that a real estate agent is going to make money, bank's going to make money, somebody's going to do some renovations that's going to make money. So you're creating a whole new economy off of that senior selling that home.
Because my mother, she doesn't want me to say her age on TV. I'm quite sure, but she's getting, she's a little older, and she qualifies for many of the senior citizen programs, right, and benefits. But she does not want to live in a senior community, and I think that one of the reasons why many people don't want to live in senior communities is because what they picture is what you may see in the movies or what you may hear about on TV, where senior citizens are being mistreated, or they're being treated with such kid gloves that they actually wind up accelerating in age. Almost.
Now, not assisted living. Now, that's a different
right.
thing. I'm talking about, like, I got a good friend of mine. He's 73. He lives in a senior citizen facility in Gretna. Now, he takes care of himself, but there are patios, there are things that they can do. There's bowling. Take them out on movie nights.
Absolutely.
So I'm talking more like the Golden Girls type facility, not assisted living.
And that's my point, is that when people think senior citizen, they think assisted living. No. And I've seen some wonderful senior communities where you had to be a certain age to live there.
And when you go to Florida and you go to New York, you go to places like that, you have thriving senior citizen communities. A lot of people that I grew up with, I worked with, going on home to the Lord. So it's important to me. My kids may come for Thanksgiving. They may come for holidays. They may come if someone telling them I'm not doing well, but it's probably infrequent. They have their own lives. But if I'm living with other people who are vibrant, who we go bowling, we go to the movies, we sit up and talk in the evening, we watch a movie or something, that's a senior citizen community, not an assisted living. And we got to distinguish, and that's an excellent distinction, because what happens is that seniors have value. And another important thing that I would like to see implemented is utilizing the knowledge, wisdom, and capacity of our seniors. We should stop throwing them away.
Absolutely.
Because they have seen and done things that we have yet to do.
Yes.
So if you incorporate them into the economy, and make them a source of knowledge and information and mentorship, then what happens is that makes them want to continue to live.
Absolutely. And I think many times young people, we get frustrated or we get impatient because when a person does get up in age, sometimes they may repeat themselves a little bit. Or sometimes they may want to talk for a little bit longer than your attention span might let. But if you just sit down and listen, there's
A
so much
wealth of
knowledge.
knowledge.
Right.
And so we got to figure out, one, how to create senior citizen communities that are vibrant and that help them continue to grow, and also integrate them back into the economy. I was telling you about the young man. He's 70 something years old. He called me and said, "Hey, man, I turned in my driver's license."
Mm.
He said, "But I just didn't renew it in January. Want me to come and help put some signs out in the campaign? All you got to do is renew my driver's license." So we're going to get his driver's license renewed. That's reinvigorating him. That's making
Yes.
him want to get involved. And those are the kind of things that we can do for seniors, uh, and allow the younger people to be able to afford homes that they normally
Absolutely. Okay, so I love it. I would love to see a thriving senior citizen community because I've seen them in other
couldn't afford.
cities,
Yes.
and they have clubhouses, they have their
Everything.
own little restaurants and everything.
It's a vibrant community. They're
Yes,
going to lunch. They go. I mean, it's just everything is confined in their community where they don't have to go here and go
and
there.
it doesn't have.
You got to be creative, and then we have to be able to core invite investors to come in, and that's why it's so important. One of the things that we have to be able to utilize is these. Uh, Now, some of the things that President Trump did with you, they created these opportunity zones and opportunity funds that could be reinvested in urban areas
Mhm.
because they get certain capital gains write off, they get certain tax write off for 10 years. So we have to look at the economy. A lot of times we deal with the politics, but we don't deal with the economics of politics.
Yes.
That's something that former Councilman Butch Ward and former Councilman Ed Nunez told me. They said, "Donald, you got to learn the economics of politics because it's the economic of politics that's going to change your community." So when they start talking like that and you start understanding it, then you realize that you can bring a PGA golf tournament facility to Jefferson Parish.
Yes.
So we use innovative financing, the Fireman's Pension Fund, to fund bringing the PGA to Jefferson Parish. So those are the kind of creative things. And once you got the PGA golf facility there, you got the racetrack facility there,
Mm-hmm.
you got Delgado, you got everything coming there. So you got to be innovative and creative and make investors want to come and invest in your community.
Absolutely.
We have to be business friendly and community. So say for instance,
Mm.
and they said no one came and talked to them about it. I said, "What do you mean no one came and talked to you about it?" One of the requirements of elected officials is to go into community and hold public hearings.
Yes.
So you go into community and hold public hearings and you say, "Look, this is a plastic plant that's going to locate here. It's going to produce 25 to 75 high-paying jobs." That's the positive component of it. The negative component is we're going to have to deal with the disbursement of the chemicals that used to deal with the plastic. Where you have
Yes.
to pump it into the river or the system, burn it in the sky. Give the people an opportunity to say yeah or nay. They may say, "Hey, we like the high-paying jobs." They may say, "We don't want it here." You have to be business friendly and community sensitive at the same time, and that's
Right.
key of being an elected official. I mean, we had some of the highest postage. I remember the Times Picayune wrote an article one time. Jones postage higher than any other council person. But going into the communities, talking to the people, finding out what their interests are, and then bringing strategic, technical, and financial people together, coming up with solutions. That's how you make it work.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that I admire about over in District 99 in New Orleans is their councilwoman has been very, very active. And she posts a lot on Facebook. She's about to hold a public meeting to find out what to do with the Jazzland space,
Mhm.
to get the people's opinion. She's doing exactly what you're saying, which I believe a lot of the people who um, want to represent certain areas or certain districts in their cities, that's what they should be doing. Find out exactly what the people not want, not your friend who you talk.
With
Okay.
dynamic of the
Yes.
district.
Yes. And count. Or do you think maybe young people aren't finding politics as attractive because it's not going to give them the big dollars, so to speak? What do you think that reasoning is?
I started out by saying, and if I can go, if I, you can't go back in the past, but if I could do anything differently, I would probably reach out to people who were my adversaries.
Mm.
Because what happens is that they had some value. But because things were so hard and so difficult, it becomes just like the country is today, it's polarized.
Yes.
You got people on this side, on that side, and they're waiting for you to fail.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I pray, and because I've asked God, I said, God, why have we not progressed more? Why do we have so much talent? And every 4 years or every 8 years, it just collides. And the Lord put on my heart is that we need to have a real think tank where we take people such as yourself and others, our best and brightest, and you get together and you put a strategic plan together that includes young people, older people, middle-aged people, and you put a plan together that everybody can see I can participate.
Yes.
It's not just who's your friend or what church you go to.
Or what school you went to.
Xavier University. And you have a long-term strategic plan that says based on your capacity, based on your commitment, based on your faith, you can achieve almost anything you choose to achieve. And then all those barriers, when you run into a barrier, an institutional barrier that's holding you back, the think tank has dealt with how to overcome it. And I think if we can do that, and Maynard Jackson, I read this book by Herman Russell. It's called How I Rebuilt Atlanta and Overcame Segregation.
Mm.
If a guy like Herman Russell in his 1960s and 70s can become a multi-millionaire, and not just for him, a lot of people don't realize that Herman Russell helped fund the civil rights movement. Mm. When they were trying to encourage him to come and march and do things, Dr. King said, no, we don't need you to march. What we need you to do is be able to bail us out. So Herman Russell is a classic illustration that when you those guys had think tank, and so they had diverse people doing different things.
Yes.
And I think that if we can give you an example, one of the most brilliant politicians that I know is Oliver Thomas.
Yes.
Oliver Thomas had probably more knowledge about city government than almost anybody that's still operating today. Why isn't he a major source, and he may be, I don't know, why isn't he a major source of information? Why isn't a think tank built around him?
It could be.
Yeah, and so those are the kind of things that you can do. These think tanks, see, we don't realize people are 24/7 plotting and planning.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to develop think tanks that deal with statistical analysis, demographics, economics, that's taking position papers that's saying this is what needs to happen. Then now young people can say, well, I got a future. I got an opportunity. Middle class people can say, I got a future, I got an opportunity.
Yes.
Elder people can say, I got a future, I got an opportunity. So if you have no strategic planning, what's going to happen is that little fragment here, little fragment there. It's like chiefdoms. There's a little chiefdom, a little serfdom here, a little territory here. And so you have all these little territories and no true master plan to bring it all together.
Well, we have to take our last break on that note. But when we get back, I do want to delve a little bit more into our youth and your plan for youth programs. And then I also understand you have a reentry program that you're working on as well. So I would love to be able to talk with you more about that as well. So we'll be right back, guys. Stay right there. Hang in with us. We have one more break. And when we get back, we're going to jump into some items that could really affect you personally. We're talking youth jobs. We're talking reentry. And another thing I also want to talk a little bit about is crime, because that's everybody's big feeling right now is what are we going to do about crime? So we're going to try to crash all of that into the last
we can get it done.
Segment. Yes.
You're such a great host. We're going to get it done.
Amen. Thank you.
You're Larry King. The female version of Larry King.
See, that is a compliment, people. Okay. We'll be right back. Stay right there.
We got it open.
Girl, Dr. Rhonda M Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night. with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there.
People who are being let out of prison, those individuals should be given a opportunity to get their GED. Those individuals should get an opportunity to get a gainful job, or if they want to go into business. One of the things that impacts prisoners when they leave out of prison is that they are prohibited oftentimes from living in subsidized housing. So the coalition has a position paper that says that we need to modify that policy. Because if I don't have a place to live and I can't get a job, then there's a strong likelihood that I'm going to resort back to those things that sent me to prison anyway.
Yeah, see, this is the problem. Sometimes we get caught up in the conversations and then we don't even pay attention. And now we're back on. So we are back. And in this last segment, I just want to jump right in there. One of the things that you're working on is creating more job opportunities for our youth.
Yeah, one of the things we have to do is that, I mean, when I was a boy, I worked in a program called Manpower in the summer.
Yes.
And it was for people between ages 14 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get summer employment. And I actually worked some in, but they place you in certain offices and environments where you can learn business protocol, learn mannerisms, just learn the structure. So I can't understand, and I'm studying it now, what happened to that program in Jefferson Parish, because that was a viable program that gave kids over the summertime, 2 months where they can earn a viable income,
Absolutely.
where they can learn what it means to get up and go to work on time.
And they can develop a skill that they may be able to make into a career later.
And another component is that we need to retool our kids, because what happens is that the markets are changing. And most people are not aware that over 58% of the people work from their homes. So there's a retooling process that we can go through that retrain our kids and allow them, everybody isn't going to go to college.
Yes.
So we can give those kids opportunity to become, I got associates of mine who guy cut grass, make $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plumbers, electricians, associate of mine makes $700,000 a year. He's an HVAC guy. So there are a myriad of opportunities that we can redirect some kids into. And we got what you call a youth build program. And that youth build program allowed us to teach kids how to become electricians, plumbers, HVAC guys. And it did something even greater. It helped them to get their GEDs. Now, I think it's changed. It's not called GED anymore, but I can't remember the name of it now, but it's the equivalent.
I thought it was still called GED,
No,
so you know more than me.
Somebody corrected me, because what happened is that on a reentry program, I put together a team of people, because as I started to look at Jefferson Parish, we have one of the highest conviction rates, but we also have one of the highest rates where the courts have returned them. So why is that important? Because they're encouraging these kids to plea bargain.
Yes.
And they don't realize that when they do that plea bargain, it comes with a long-term consequence. So we've been working this last year putting together a reentry program.
I was watching this documentary. It came out last year, and many of them were doing the plea bargain because if they fought the case, they would get an even worse
Worse
sentence if they
sentences.
didn't win.
That's correct.
And so they were going ahead and
It's
taking
a
it.
scare
Yeah,
tactic,
it's a very
but
much
it has a
scare
long-term consequence because when you come out of jail, you're unemployable.
Absolutely.
If your family has any subsidy with housing, you can't stay there. Now that has changed because HUD did a pilot program here in New Orleans with Hano, whereby they set up this committee that reviews the felon and can screen that felon and allow that felon to have an opportunity to live with a family member. Because what happens is that if you're unemployed, you can't get a job,
Hmm.
you don't have anywhere to stay, you're going to resort back to those things that you were doing before.
Absolutely.
So under this reentry program, our reentry program that we're trying to get done, we're going to teach felons how to be entrepreneurs. Imagine it. Felons hiring felons. I got an associate of mine who was a contractor. He spent 20 years in Angola. Couldn't find a job. Started doing contracting. Ended up going to get his contractor's license. Now he's a thriving contractor. Kid came out of Angola, couldn't find a job. He started a T-shirt printing company.
Hmm.
Now his T-shirt printing company has grown into a computer repair company.
And let's give it a little bit of context. Angola is probably one of the most notorious prisons in the country.
It is. And so those guys came out of there, couldn't find anywhere to stay. So under the reentry program, we want to give them the possibility of becoming an entrepreneur.
Yes.
We're going to teach them both literary skills and financial skills. Because a lot of times we assume people know certain things. We assume that they understand the 70-30 rule, that you live off of 70% of what you earn, not 100%. Those are just basic fundamental things. We're going to teach them how, when they come out of jail, they don't realize that there are health facilities available for them. So this whole reentry program is to repatriate people back into society.
Yes.
You can't cage a person up and treat them like an animal and expect them to be able to come back in society.
Yeah, tell them
and
go off
function.
and do great things.
That's
but
what
we have not given them the tools to do it.
That's what we did with the Vietnam veterans.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we should learn from that. So this reentry program that we've been working on is going to be a program that's going to retool them and allow them to be viable economic citizens and regain their citizenship. You know, Florida and Louisiana now allows felons to regain their citizenship. So once you've done your time and you're legitimate, you got to have something that says that I can come back in society, I can be productive, because if we don't, they're going to prey on you and I. So what happens is that one of the things we're also going to do, we're talking a little bit about crime off the air. I think we have adequate police. I think we need, like in other places, these high surveillance cameras. And what these high surveillance cameras are going to do, there's a small element that perpetuates the crime. But people extrapolate across entire communities.
Yes.
So you might have a small percentage, a tenth of a percent of the people that. So if we can catch these people in the act, or these high surveillance cameras, that's going to start deterring it. So in communities where you have those high surveillance cameras, crime goes down. It frees police up from dealing with nuisance type things.
Right.
Another thing we have to do with our police officers, and I've talked with the sheriff of Jefferson Parish about this, they need to become more culturally sensitive. What I mean by that, you have to understand the culture you're trying to police. A person being loud doesn't necessarily mean they're violent.
I would have been arrested a long time ago.
but that's cultural sensitivity.
Yes.
And what happens is that cultural sensitivity training is key. Because I believe the majority of policemen are good people.
Yes.
You, just like in society, you can always have an element that's corrupt and that's violent, that's evil, that's going to penetrate into institutional organizations. But we shouldn't cast aspersions on all police officers. I'll give you an example. We were in Macomb, Mississippi. 7 o'clock at night, dark. This is the summer months. Guy was supposed to dump some trash. He got lost. Police officer pulls up. How you guys doing? I can help you, fellas. I said, well, told him the story. He said, well, let me bring y'all to the dome where y'all need to go. So that police officer actually escorted us to the dome, dumped the trash, made sure we were safe. Now, the average person don't want to tell you that story. They're only going to tell you about the police officer that stopped them and said, "Get out of the car, put your hands on the car."
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? So we have to be sensitive to the dangers that police face. And also the police have to be sensitive to the communities that they're trying to police. So by bringing both groups together, think tank, saying, look, these are the problems that the community sees. These are the problems that the police officer. What programs, policies, and procedures that we can put in place to accommodate both objectives, whereas people aren't being harassed. I can recall, I remember we had a problem in a subdivision called Lincolnshire. Then former Sheriff Harry Lee, who was a good sheriff.
And his name is still synonymous with Jefferson Parish.
And Sheriff Lee sat down with me, and I remember him telling me, "Donald, you and I can't be enemies because we're the only thing between the mob. You're talking about people just doing vile things."
Right.
He said, "Let's go into this community, you and I together, and let's talk to them about how we can curtail the crime, how we can turn this community around, because these people should not be living in fear and harassment." So we went into the community. We had a whole series of community meetings, and the sheriff said, "Look, tell me what your concerns are." They told him what their concerns are. How can we get it done? How can we make this community the type of community that you want to live in? So he put a whole protocol and process in place.
Right.
Now, I'm going to tell you, when you go at war against crime, you're going to have some casualties of war that's unanticipated. That's real. But my question to the community that night was that should 98% of the people be oppressed for this little 1.5% that's causing all the headache? So we put a whole program in place that cleaned out that community. Now people are moving back in that community. The home values are up years later. And it's a place where you wouldn't mind living.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy at all. And I'm quite sure it takes buy-in from the entire community for it to work.
You got to have, it probably took us 4 meetings in that community to get because people in our community have a natural uncomfort with because they have been harassed. Now, we can't get around that.
Right.
You have a certain element that just, look, I was in a neighborhood, I was just riding one night. This was like 2 years ago. And I don't know how I got there, just riding, thinking. So the police stops me. So she gets out of the car. She said, "Well, what are you doing here?" I'm just riding. She said, "Well, we've had some complaints about burglaries in this neighborhood. Why are you riding here, 11?" I said, "Ma'am, I was just riding." Another police car pulls up. So the lady gets out the car, and she talks to me. She says, she goes to the other lady and says, "Look, blah, 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 blah." They talk and come back and say, look, Mr. Jones, go right on and go on. She misunderstood. Now, both of these were Caucasians. One took the time to analyze. The other one just wanted to be a nuisance. I tell that story because we have to not lump everybody into that negative category. There are good, solid policemen, but those ones who are bad, who are vicious, who shouldn't be police officers, like some people shouldn't be teachers. Some people should be pastors.
Amen.
So we have people that infiltrate, and the Book of Jude tells us that God knew them before the beginning of time. They Satan and demonic, and they infiltrate everywhere. But if we can, the key around is communication. I've found that when you sit down and talk with people, you find we're not that different. We want safe homes for our wives and children.
Yes.
We want our kids to be able to go to good schools. We want to be able to go on vacations. We want to be able to return home. We want our grandkids to have an opportunity. So we're not that different. The problem is that we talk at one another.
And not with one another.
And one of my goals, if God allows me to get back into elective office, I want people to start talking with one another and not to one another. And I think you're going to find that within the scope of our capacity, we're going to eliminate a lot of the problems that we have. And that intercommunication is so important. Uh, and I tell people oftentimes, I serve on the council with 6 Caucasians for 12 years. And not one time that I bring something that was good for Jefferson Parish and good for the district that they didn't go along with, because I took the time to explain it to them, bring a cultural perspective that maybe they didn't understand. And that's so important. And I know, and I tell people, and I'll say this, I never had any problem with those guys because they understood business, they understood economics, they understood what if it was good for Jefferson Parish and good for the district, let's do it.
Right, right.
It's not because Donald was pushing it, but let's do it. And I want to see those kind of times again, that District 3 can prosper, it can have prosperity, and that people can buy into the fact that I don't want my daughter to have to go to Texas,
Right,
you know,
right.
to enjoy her life. I want to be able to see my grandkids.
Yes.
And everybody, our kids got to stay here. But if they don't see opportunities, you're going to have a brain drain.
They're leaving.
They're leaving.
Yes.
So I want to be able to see my grandkids grow. I want to be able to interface with my nieces and my nephews, and I want that for everybody else.
Okay.
And that's why it's very important that we get this thing right. It shouldn't be about personalities. It should be about capacity and commitment to excellence. And if we can just do that, and then after the election, whoever wins, bring all these people together and say, hey, look, I'm going to form a think tank with you guys.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you guys to help me administer what direction the district and the parish goes into. And that's the Man of Jackson plan.
Well, I hope no matter who's elected that think tank happens. I think it would be good for the city. It'd be good for the community.
Look forward to it, and whoever it is, if it's me, I thank God. If it's not, I'm going to stand and work as hard as I can to make a difference because I want my daughter, my grandchildren to stay here, and I want them to have a viable life. And I don't want them to have to go to Atlanta or Orange County, Texas, and take an offer. I'm just look put it out there. Don't you take that offer for Orange County for $150,000?
I'm about to say you're feeling some kind of way about something. I can see that now.
And that's why, and that's one of the reasons why I'm back involved in it. Because if that's impacting me,
yes, then it's
I'm quite
impacting
sure
other people too. Well, we have just been talking with Donald Jones, candidate for Jefferson Parish Council District 3. Thank you for being with us tonight.
And I want to thank you for inviting me. This is great. All the candidates should come on and express themselves and take an opportunity. I know that's your time, and I can't do anything with your time, but this is a great thing you're doing, and you're going to be amazed at the people that's going to respond. And thank you for allowing me to do that.
Thank you so much. Now, where can people find you if they want more information about your platform?
They can go vote DonaldRJones.com. You can go there, sign up to volunteer, to donate, to get a sign in your yard. It's called Vote DonaldRJones.com, and we're running a grassroots campaign. I mean, I like the grassroots because what happens is that when you have a grassroots campaign,
yes,
it makes it easier to go.
yes,
See, the money people didn't pay for it.
exactly. People were giving their $2, their $5, their $10.
And then you're gonna get some of the money people that believe in good government. But when you're running a grassroots campaign with volunteers, $5, $10, $15. You know, it takes more for a person to donate $5 to the campaign than $1,000. Because that person that's donating that $5, 9 out of 10 times is coming from the heart. That person, and I'm just being real, is donating that $1,000. 9 out of 10 times is saying, I want access. And that's the system we live in. And I'm not being critical of it.
Yes.
I'm just trying to be real.
Got it. All right. So once again, thank you for coming out, and thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that this shed a little bit more light on your decision process so that you will be well informed when you walk into those polls on October 12th, correct?
That's correct. October the 12th is the big day, and we're looking for a great turnout because it's going to impact your life both on the state and local level.
All right. All right. So join us next week. We'll have 2 brand new guests, or we might have a candidate. Who knows? You know, I'm trying to be fluid with this. I want to invite as many candidates as possible onto the show before we get to October 12th, because like I said, it is very important to me that you are well informed before you go into the polls on October 12th. So I want to thank you for joining us. And then I also want to remind you that if you want to be a part of the bus trip going to Tennessee, there it is right there. There is still time. Deposits are only $50 until until August 31st. So I know that if you've seen the poster, it says 100. We've dropped that deposit to $50 just for the next week or so until August 31st. After that, deposits are going to double. So we want you to be a part of that, and we want you to get the most affordable possible. So go ahead and get your $50 in. Get on that bus because it's going to be one heck of a trip. We're going to 2 different cities. We're going to see the Saints. We're going to have breakfast. We're going to have socials. We're going to have gift bags. We're going to have sightseeing. All of that is included. You need to be a part of that. So, that's all I have. Can we go? You want to go on a trip too?
Probably will.
All right. All right. So join us next week. You guys have a wonderful week. Thanks so much for joining us. God bless you and good night. Bye.